Hey, I'm Daniel Berger, and this is Adventures of a Real Estate Broker. Welcome to the podcast where Metro New York real estate meets great stories and a douse of humor. Forget the dry sales talk. Here we dive into the fun and unexpected moments of real estate. Join me each week as we explore Westchester, Long Island, the Bronx, and more. You'll hear about the people, the places, and the crazy situations that make this industry so interesting. Thanks to our sponsor, Remax Prestige Properties, we're ready to share the lighter side of real estate. Whether you're a pro, a buyer, or just curious, we've got something for everyone. Ready for today's adventure? Let's get into it. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Adventures of a Real Estate Broker with Daniel Berger. Today we have today's an exciting show where we have Syed Mohsin on, who is coming all the way from Michigan. He has a lot of things that we can talk about: the future of real estate, impact of AI, scaling with marketing systems. But something that's quite interesting, he's a success coach. He's also the proud author of a book entitled Helping Introverted Agents Get Dream Clients Passively. So that's I don't know if I'm an introvert, but I'm still going to listen because getting dream clients is something that I would think that everybody wants to do. But so thank you. First off, thank you and welcome to this week's podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your book. And obviously you're allowed to pitch your book, pitch websites, and all. You're being a coach. That's this format, is really just sharing, learning. And if someone hears something that that interests them, then they should absolutely reach out to you. So you can either do it now or you can
Yeah,
wait as
for
we
sure.
go. We
Yeah,
talk
we
about it.
basically the book is magnetic marketing for introverted agents. Okay. When I started in business almost 12 years now, I was a very introverted. I was a very, I mean, I would not get on a podcast. That was the last thing I would do to promote myself. I was not a person that would promote themselves. I didn't like cold calling, door knocking, getting rejected by strangers. I was like the opposite of a salesperson, like in a traditional sense. But I was able to go through a journey that I have been through and figure out magnetic marketing. And that is pretty much, you just proved that it works. The book is about introverted agents, but you would still want to read it because you want the result. And that's what magnetic marketing is about, is that you market yourself using the problems and desires of your clients. And regardless if fits into the ideal client avatar you're trying to target, people would want it because they want, end of the day, we all want problems and problems gone and desires achieved, right? So
I mean, I certainly agree with you. So, well, I'm older than you because you talked about your years of experience. I'm only about 8 years in as a real estate broker. Before that, I had 20 something years in the beverage world as in sales and marketing. So what I like about being 8 years in is everything feels new and different and special to me. And I think, in real estate, things change. Like, what's the impact of AI, all those things that we're going to get into. But
yeah,
that wasn't something that when you first started, that we even were thinking that how it wasn't going to be part of listings or
yeah.
communicating with prospects. So I guess the one thing of real estate is that maybe it was stagnant for a lot of years, but it ultimately the internet is such an amazing source of technology that allows us to take things to the next level.
Yeah, for sure. I look at all of that as just a change of medium. Medium is a mode of communication, right? How we reached out to masses, and the best mode of communication is the mode of communication that you can reach the masses, the mass amount of people at one time, right? That is the best medium for any time. So medium could change time to time. I mean, we had pigeon carriers to reach people. We had, radio, we had television, we had newspaper, we had door to door, person to person. We had, with internet came emails, came blogs, came Now we're going through social media as being the best medium, but that's also evolving into digital reality, virtual reality. So there will mediums always change, and as long as we look at these as vehicle and don't stay stuck on one medium, I think we can truly maximize the results and impact we can make with our business.
So I think you brought up something that was interesting regarding about the, mass communication. So clearly, if you're trying to sell a book or get the word out about being a coach and a mentor, and other things like that, you do want to get out to the masses because that's that, you want the most reach.
Yeah,
Um, if you're dealing with, buying and selling with a client, right there, whether representing buyers or sellers, um, there are many ways to reach people,
yeah,
and ultimately, it's you need to be communicating with once you have a client, you should
yeah,
be communicating with them not in the medium that you feel most comfortable, but in the medium that they feel most comfortable.
yeah,
Um,
yes,
right? Because there's some people that they want the good old fashioned phone call, or
yeah,
some people prefer the text because you can text it 24/7. They can read it and respond when it's convenient for them. Some people use video, so there's many different ways, but I think that's the part of you know that do what your client, if you're really trying to be there for an advocate and a customer service, and
yes,
try to step into what is the comfort level. Don't try to change your client, but try to
yeah.
step into their comfort level.
Yeah, I would say if you ask me, what you feel comfortable with, what we feel comfortable with is irrelevant. What the best medium to attract clients is where you would find them. The best medium to service clients is the one they prefer.
Mhm.
And the way you come up with, so the way you make it work, the way it would work for you is that you first figure out who you are and you try to attract clients that are like you. So we're gonna have to get away from the scarcity mindset of like anyone and everyone is my client. Anyone and everyone with a heartbeat that's looking to buy or sell is my client. We would probably have, there is a hard stop for a lot of people there. They think there is not enough business out there, so they try to go for everyone. And they end up with a business that they don't like, that doesn't serve them, and that they feel stuck in. So you first decide on who is it that would be a good fit, and the way you decide on that is based on who you are. There has to be a direct alignment with who you want to attract and who you are. When you have that at least clarity, then comes, okay, for me to reach that type of people, what is the best medium to reach out to them, right? So there is an attraction medium, there's a service medium. What you were talking about was a service medium. I'm talking about attraction medium. So based on who you are, there is some connection, some level of connection on who you want to attract to your own identity. Now, based on that person's identity, you would choose the medium to mass outreach, right? Reach out to many people at one time. Now, once you have attracted them, you converted them into a client, you choose the medium that's best fit for them. They may prefer texting, they may prefer email, they may prefer phone, they may prefer in person only, right? And you have to choose what's best for them. Now, if you see, I reverse engineer the whole thing, the more likely they will have a preference that you do because you attracted the type of client that you are.
So part of the podcast is just to have open dialogue and to
Yeah,
communicate. So it's interesting. So one thing I agree with when you said about door knocking and phone, I never door knock. I don't call. That's
yeah,
not who I want to be. So I agree with where you try to attract or work with people, in the realm of what you want. So I don't do those, never have done them, and not well. I probably did a little bit of door knocking because my first job, I have many jobs. My first job out of college, for the most part, I worked for a bottled water company, and I actually had to go up and down the streets of Queens, New York, to try to sell the bottled water and coffee system. So I actually like opened up, not walked into businesses and started talking to them about their needs. So, but I don't do that for in the real estate world. Um, but what's interesting is I don't I really look for people that are actively and involved in buying and selling properties. Um beyond that, I don't be like I want people to look a certain way or act. So like I would say that, and that's not me, right? So I
Yeah.
have a broader um diverse group of people that don't look like me.
Yeah.
Um, and that's also like I think that and that's who I am. And I think that attracts people to me. Because if they look at that you can tell from, I'm more into like finding people through servicing people, and then when they put a reply on Zillow or Google about working with me, the people that I want to attract is when they read my reviews, they're like, I want something like that, you
Mhm.
know, to work with me. But I probably have, you know, I have clients that are total opposite me politically.
Yeah.
Um, right? Because ultimately I'm about helping them buy and sell a house. And so I'm open-minded, so I don't necessarily everyone doesn't have to have my view, right? And
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
not for me to proselytize what what they should look like, what they should
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
their political views are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what's interesting is in this political environment, right? Um, People have taken sides, which is actually what I hate about politics. Is is that if you really were like, how do we help Americans? I think people would get in a room and they would find common sense things to help everybody.
Yeah.
But that is not what politics is, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it's about getting your social media out there that you hate this and you stand for this and we're going to fight to the death for this, as opposed to right, like in a transaction, there doesn't have to be a winner and a loser. There can be
Yeah.
both winners, and
Winners.
so that's the type of person I'm trying to find. But it can be people that are politically, different than me, ideologically different. But ultimately, I will say that I certainly want to have people that are good people, right, and
Yeah.
value,
Yeah.
the work I'm going to do. So that's a hard thing
I
to.
would, yeah, I would clarify this a little bit further, right? Yes, I completely agree with you. People that will come to you, you can't have it's practically impossible. It's practically impossible for you to have a control over who comes to you, okay? Especially when you are magnetic, especially when you are attracting people, okay? So how do we attract people though, right? So let me get a little bit more clarity on that, right? So for us to talk about that, I think we need to get clear on what is a magnetic brand. So what makes a brand magnetic, or what makes a real estate agent magnetic, is that instead of using themselves to market themselves, right, which is most real estate agents are doing, they use problems and desires of a certain type of audience to market themselves. And that's what brings people to them. Now, when you think about problems and desires, all different types of people pretty much have the same problems and desires. All first-time home buyers have pretty much same problems and desires, regardless if they support Trump or they support Biden, right? Regardless of it. So it's not about attracting people who are like you. It's about when we start focusing on the problems and desires, and use the problems and desires to market yourself, you start attracting all different types of people who have the same problem. And you might target a certain problem that a first-time home buyer has, and the upsizer, downsizer, relocator might have the same problem, right? So you will attract all types of people. So when I say attracting people who are like you, what I really mean is, for you to create a magnetic brand, you need to have the number one element of a magnetic brand is a magnetic brand targets an ideal client avatar. I mean, we started this conversation with my book being for introverted agents. Does 70% of my academy are not introverted agents, are agents that have had enough with door knocking, cold calling, because they don't want to be in the rat race of constantly chasing business. They want to attract. So they come to me. But the reason why they come to me is not because they're introverted, is because they have the problems and desires of an introverted agent, right? So even though they're not introverted, they're still coming to me. So they don't have to be introverted just like I am for me to do business with them or get their business. But what they do need to have is the problem and desire that my solution solves and helps them achieve. Okay. So if that made sense, if hopefully this made sense to a lot of your audience, is that it's not about attracting people like who you are. It's about figuring out who you are and then targeting, meaning what problem are you good at solving, right? using the problem and desire you're good at solving, using that as the unique vehicle of your marketing to make that attraction piece for your brand, or make your brand magnetic for people to reach out to you. And you'll be all types of people. There is no way, even if I was targeting the right problem, right desire, right ideal client, everything was on point, I still couldn't control who would reach out to me, because that type of messaging speaks with everyone, whoever has that problem and desire. Hopefully that helped with that clarity.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just one that um, I generally you would think that you would want to build a business with all types of people because you never because attracting and being magnetic, I think, is so powerful, right? Where it's basically people are drawn to you. Um,
Mhm.
I kind of started my business saying, I would do any size thing because I knew any size transaction because I'm thinking I worked for a review. So I didn't work for money. I worked for the review. And what I've noticed over the 8 years is like getting 35 a year, then 45 a year, now 60 something a year. It's increasing exponentially because I'm attracting when people go to the websites and they see my different reviews, they read them and they're like, I want to work with someone, or they see
Yeah.
me in a magazine, or they see me, at the CVS on a wife's display and they see, and I'm getting some award, it's just like it's just building upon itself. And ultimately, and then it's also obviously from referrals, right? Where I'm getting now, now that you're doing it more and more years, people are like, "Oh, I worked with this person, he's great, you should work with him as well." So
Yeah.
it's attracting future, my future clients are being attracted to me through the people that I've touched in the real estate transaction.
So that's the fourth element of a magnetic brand, which is a social proof. Okay. So what you are talking about with reviews is basically social proof. So you display success stories, you display testimonials, you display people that you have served that are your testimony, or that are sending you business because they're saying, oh, he served me really well. You should work with him, right? So this is an element of having a magnetic brand, is that you provide good service and people become your social proof to work for you and your brand, right? They're kind of like they're getting you either themselves repeat business, or people coming to you because of their testimony, or they're sending referrals to you.
Which I think is other reasons why I try to insulate my client base where I've been involved in gift giving, right? So not at the closing. I'm talking about after the closing,
Yeah.
where I kind of felt that I didn't want to do it around the holiday season because not everyone's this religion or that religion or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do it around Thanksgiving because it's easily connecting. So of course everyone in my clients for the most part, most of them buying and selling in the United States. So obviously Thanksgiving is an important holiday that families get together and it's a way that I can say I'm giving thanks to you
Yeah.
for working with me, for referring me. And so I started with like pies where I would hand deliver pies. And then it got like, after like 130 something pies, it's hard to give that many away in 3 days around Thanksgiving. So then I turned it into something else. Well, this year I did something quite interesting is I developed a blanket that has my branding on it and also like a little piece on the edge that says with gratitude, Daniel Berger and my phone number. I had them shipped to my clients. I shipped like I first sent out an email that said, I'm gonna do this, who wants it? Because I didn't want to just send it to people
I
that didn't
love
want it.
that. I love that idea.
And and then I was like 150 blankets, right? 150 blankets that were expensive. They were drop shipped via like FedEx to everybody. And what happened was around as this was happening, kept getting people they wanted me to see them with their blanket. I would get pictures of their children with the blanket, their
Wow.
pets with the blanket. I
That's a
was like,
proof. That's social proof. Yeah.
and I was able to then, post that of saying, look, here's the blanket and look what people have done with it. And then you post some of that and you're able, and so it's a way again of connecting with the clients, right, and being able to thanking them for what they mean to me,
Yeah.
and so that was kind of like actually the best gift that I've done so far because of the connections. And so
Now
um
there are agents out there, right? I want to maybe provide some value here for agents that may not have 130 clients like you do, right? Or past clients, or they may not have the money to do that, right? And here is a system that we teach in our academy to agents that is like literally foolproof in infiltrating your database or your sphere of influence. I don't like the word database, but sphere of influence is that all of that fancy stuff that we think of that might get us business, right? Like, oh, gifting people and inviting them to events and all that stuff. It's really at the end of the day, if you don't have a personal connection with those people, they would catch what you're doing, right? Like, meaning they would be like, okay, you're sending me this for you to get my business, but you really don't care about me, right? So what agents, especially starting off in their business, or if they have a 200-300 people that they know, they need to really start doing is start building a personal connection. So what I recommend, my advice, take it or leave it, is quarterly calling those people, not asking for business. Don't ever ask for business. You would never have to ask for business if you're magnetic, right? So quarterly calling them, just checking in with them. The Ford conversation, I don't know if you're familiar with the Ford conversation: family, occupation, recreation, and dream. Check in with them. How's the family doing? How's the job going? What are they doing for fun this season? And what is the long-term plan related to them, right? So if their job is important, then what's the long-term plan with the job? If their kids are important, then what's the long-term plan with the kids? And the more you do this with someone, the more you know about them, and you should data collect, right? Meaning, what are their kids' name and all that stuff. You should note this stuff down so you can, on the follow-up conversation next quarter, you can ask by the kid's name, like, how's Tommy doing? How's Timmy doing? And they will be like, wow, you really care about me, right? Once you have conversation, let's just say someone has 100 people on their database. Everyone should know 100 people if you're alive and you have a heartbeat, right? And you can call one person a day to cover that whole list in 90 days, right? And every person you talk with, and I still do this, I'm not in production for 4 years now. These Hallmark cards, you could have a thank you card right here. Okay, this whole thing costs 500 of them for $30. You have a thank you card. So every person you're talking to, you're handwriting a note like, thank you for the conversation this week. Maybe that's what you can write for everyone, but you can write something special for someone who had a special moment in a conversation. You can put your business card, one business card in there as your signature. Don't write like your name. Instead, put your business card as a signature. They will get the message, right? You can stack those cards for every week. So weekly, you're talking to 7 people, you will have a stack of 7 cards. Pre-buy the stamps. It's the dollar stamp in the post office. Stamp the envelopes, put it in your mailbox. The mail person takes it, right? So that's prospecting for relationship, connection, following up with a card. And then third thing would be add all of them on social media. So if you are posting on social media, now you're passively market to them instead of directly marketing to them, right? And then lastly, fourth one would be look at your list and see where are most of these people hanging out, right? Especially when you don't have the money to do an event, right? So is it community events? Is it church events? Wherever most of these people are hanging out, you need to go show up there. When you show up there, most of those people are going to see social proof because you have checked in with them. You have followed up with the thank you card. They saw you on social media. So when you go to a networking opportunity where it's in person, those people you checked in with are going to approach you to thank you for checking in, to strike a conversation with you, to remind you, thank you for the card, or thank you for I see your video. That's a lot of value. I always see you, right? That will give others social proof to get into your list, right? So that whole system altogether, and over time you can grow on that. And gift, I would say, anytime you gift people is when they send you referrals. When they send you referrals, so when you make money, you spend money, right? So anyone who sends you referrals, you need to gift it like it's no tomorrow, right? Like $500 gift card, whatever it might be, a big, nice gift. And not saying, obviously, you don't want to break any RESPA, to do any RESPA violation. You don't want to say, oh, thank you for the referral. Here is the gift. There'll be a RESPA violation, right? Instead, just gift it for the sake of gifting. Don't even say they're going to get the message. Okay, they're going to get the message why they're getting the gift. Okay, so the occasion is referral. Anytime you close a deal for a referral, you send a gift to the person that sent you that referral. And over time, you can do a once a year event, twice a year event where you're inviting all these people you're personally connected with. They don't have to be your past client. Everyone on your sphere of influence should be invited there, and they're gonna come there. They're gonna eat food. They're gonna approach you for thank you for checking in with them. Thank you for the thank you card. Tell you that they always see you on social media, and that's how you can truly infiltrate your sphere of influence, where there will be no doubt that anyone who has any, and this whole process, you never ask for business. Sure, if
Yep.
someone's like itching, like I have to ask for business, do it once a year. Once a year, one of those quarterly calls, be like, hey, this year I want to help 25 people. Who do you know that I can help in that format? Don't ask like, oh, are you thinking about buying or selling? Or who do you know buying or selling? That more sounds more transactional. But I honestly, I don't think asking for business is required at all if you do it through personal connection.
I agree. And so like the issue with my gift giving was always to exist are like in contract or have already bought things. So I have to make a plan that when and a referral, right? So
Yeah.
when those things happen, you should budget that money's put aside to
Very
invest
good.
back to try to
Yeah.
get more of that. So that
Yeah.
so it's not just, so to me I call it an investment. I also had just recently a dinner. I had a dinner party at a restaurant with someone that I met on Zillow years ago. I've now, between the seven transaction they've done, and there were like 12 transactions at that table of everyone connected with them. A family member, a parent, and two friends that they referred. And we went out to a dinner that was quite expensive. I never realized how much seafood towers cost until I bought two of them. Um, but it was like it was very, very expensive, right? But in the end of the day, that was 12 transactions, all from the
Wow.
same people. And then, of course, they're like, oh, we're looking again, right? So it's kind of like it's how do you pay it back and pay it forward in an event that you said it takes money to make money. And it really, what it is it's me showing people that I value them. I value their business. I value that they gave me referrals. And these were like, one of them was a million. It was probably $1.5 million of referrals last year alone. So that closed. So we're talking like legit. And I can't say thank you enough to somebody that is going to. Oh, and by the way, in both of those cases, shockingly, I showed them each one place. One place. I did one showing for $1.5 million of sales.
Yeah.
I want them to, and we all got together, and it was an amazing. My wife was there. We all got together for dinner. We talked about stuff, and you're taking it. I didn't ask for any business, and then they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're looking again," because why? I don't need to ask for business. I just want to be seen as their go-to person for all things real estate, right?
Yeah.
That's basically, and that's I'm trying. I haven't read your book yet, but I need to. But it's about the magnet. All right. I want to be the magnet. Right. So,
Yeah.
what are the things that I can do to try to make people think about me, whatever, without really being in their face, selling, asking for business. I don't. I only want to help them. I don't really want business that's not there yet. So,
Yeah. I think it for me, at least in my experience, I started my business. The first 2 years, I sold 6 deals, and here in Michigan, it was less than $20,000. And I thought I'm like on my way out, and until like I got married, and it kind of was getting serious, and I had to drive Uber to be able to pay bills. So my back was against the wall. I had to go all in. And so I got into a brokerage that was providing Zillow leads, and this was my first experience in generating leads online. And 3 years of doing that, I mean, it was still a struggle. Even though you get leads, you don't know how to convert them. I had to hire a coach to learn how to convert Zillow leads. Not all leads are created equal, right? And not all leads are created equal everywhere, right? So in some markets, the same lead source could be really bad, and some markets, the same leads are very good, right? So I hired my coach. I learned how to convert those leads. Third year in real estate, sold 35 homes. Fourth year, 57. Fifth year, 65. And then that brokerage actually gets purchased by a Remax franchise, and they stop providing for leads. And so I was back to square one. I have to start buying but by then I had figured out how to convert leads, ZillowRealtor.com leads. So I started buying leads. And over time, those leads started getting more and more expensive. Quality starts dropping. They start recycling leads to multiple agents at a time, right? There was a big shift. And then I had to figure out, okay, how do I generate my own business? How are they doing it? And initially, it was hard doing it through social media organically without spending money on ads, because I was working harder and longer hours to be able to get return on my spend. It's not like I didn't have the money, but spending the money is not always the answer to your problems, right? Especially with businesses that stay stuck with that needs to spend money to get business, it's usually because they never mastered a marketing process to get business organically. In my opinion now is that even though I started spending money, okay, is that until a business masters organic marketing to, especially real estate businesses, to close 1, 2, 3 deals a month consistently, they shouldn't spend money on ads. For most agents, they don't even need to spend money on ads if they master how to organically get that business. So initially, just following trainings and watching trainings after trainings on YouTube, doing what everyone else is doing, just showing up, right? We have to understand social media or being online, generating business online 10 years ago was completely different than what it is now. 10 years ago, you just needed to exist. You just needed to let people know you're a real estate agent, you got business online. Today, there's too many agents on the same space. Too many people are marketing themselves. So I would say to what you said, the reason why I kind of give you that backstory is that today, now more than ever, we need to not introduce ourselves as realtors to get the business. If as soon as people think you're a realtor, they already think they know what you do, and they're like, "Oh, I don't need you right now. I'm not thinking about moving." Right? Instead, how we should introduce ourselves, a brand magnetic message should be who you help, what results you get them, what desire you help them achieve, and what problem you solve for them. If you deliver your message, your unique selling proposition, your unique value proposition, your elevator pitch, more than, oh, I'm just another realtor, in people's mind, you're a knob turner, right? In people's mind, oh, you just help people move when they need to move, right? Instead, we just need to redefine who we are based on who we want to bring. Now, in the process of doing that, you will bring all types of people, but you do need to choose someone. So it creates curiosity. It creates that magnetism. Now more than ever, we not only need a brand, we need a magnetic brand. And the way to have it is targeting a specific ideal client avatar, or I like to call it unique vehicle. Most people know it as niche. And then what problem and desire within that unique vehicle do you solve best, and use that to market yourself. Doesn't mean it's practically impossible to get only that type of client. I think biggest misconception also people have is, oh, if I put a niche in my marketing, I'm going to be turning down business. But that's not what happens. I have proof of that, and not only in my business, but hundreds of agents that I have helped build their brand, is that they always, after they do that, they're like, wow, this was this simple. I just needed to let go of my limiting belief and just really be magnetic. The reason why it works is because the first step to attraction is rejection. If people are not feeling rejected or feeling fear of missing out in your marketing messaging, and you're trying to be inclusive, I do everything, buy, sell, invest, rent, everything, right? You're making yourself look like a jack of all trades, an expert of nothing, right? Versus when you have someone in their marketing messaging just choosing one problem, one desire, or one ideal client avatar, by default in people's mind, they assume this person must have some experience. That's why they're picking and choosing. It just elevates your status in the eyes of the people. You just position yourself to be expert by default, even if you don't have any experience. People would assume. So you don't even have to prove to people, I have this many years of experience, I have closed this many deals, and none of that matters if people are not attracted first, right? So first step to attraction is rejection. People should feel rejected. And if you really think about it, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and any exclusive brands, their main marketing strategy is making people feel rejected.
Yeah.
They don't worry
They
about,
don't.
oh, not everyone can afford our stuff. They don't worry about that. But guess what? Every broke person wants a Gucci, wants a Louis Vuitton, even though they don't have the money. They're not even included in the marketing, right?
Right. No, there's definitely that you're not, you have to get on lists. And if you're not in some of these stores, if you're not a frequent buyer of certain bags, you can't get the main bag because
Yeah.
that's not who. So I would say that for premium brands or something that if that's what you're emulating to be as a premium brand, that's a great strategy. Maybe I'll try saying no to a lot of clients and maybe I'll get bumped up in the higher ends. But
You don't have
ultimately,
to say no. You don't have
I
to no.
I know.
Your
The-
marketing messaging seem to be you're saying no. Okay. The reason why my book is called Magnetic Marketing for Introverted Agents, because every person that's not introverted is like, what is he teaching introverted agents that's making them get dream clients? I want that too, right? So you get the
exactly.
whole psychology there. Is that even though I'm not saying it's not for extroverted agents, just because of their messaging, people get curious and they want that, you know?
The other thing I would say is if that's your messaging and that's how you get picked, it's important to ensure that you notify those clients that you do rentals and you do eyes or whatever because you want to make sure that you can do all that to their friends, family, and colleagues. But I understand that that's how you bring them into you,
Yeah.
and then and that's your niche or something like that. So I certainly understand that.
Yeah.
Um, what do you talk about AI, and what do you see as the future AI from both a broker agent view and then also maybe from an end user view? How do you think it's going to affect real estate?
For sure. So, I mean, we are going into a global economy. I mean, we have been for I would say, minimum past 5 years, if not 10 years. And it's really like, especially when it comes to marketing, there is a element of mass marketing that has to be part of your business. Like you can't stay local or think local, right? You could still stay local, but you need to think mass, right? Like you need to think mass. And what with AI, what it does for real estate agents and brokers. Now, first of all, there are three phases of a business. I have to give that before I give AI because most people jump to AI that they don't even need, or there's no way I can help you if you don't have the foundations right, right? So there are three phases of a business. The first phase of a business, any business, not just real estate, is that you implement a strategic process to your attraction, conversion, retention, right? For your attraction, conversion, retention, a strategic process. So initially in a new business, that process looks not that sexy, right? Not that automated, not that streamlined and like, everything's just happening by itself, right? So that process needs to be there so you can automate. So the second phase of a real estate business is scaling through systems. And this is where automation comes in, AI comes in, and all of that stuff comes in. And then third phase of a business is scaling with people, right? So you leverage other people, you hire other people, right? So that they can come in and follow a process to grow that business. Now, with that said, with AI, what is possible for agents and brokers right now is they are able to, if they have their foundations right, if they have their attraction right, they should be mass collecting data. AI, basically, bottom line AI, whether you understand AI or not, you can really leverage data to create outcome, to see results, to create results. So what we are doing right now, conversational bots with AI, where AI is conversationally qualifying the data that we have. AI is ranking our data. Like we have over 130,000 people in our database that I accumulated over the last 12 years here in Michigan. With AI, the AI looks at data points for each individual context in my database, with their online behavior, with their buying behavior, with all this data that gets sold. Your data is being sold to other people, whether you agree or not. Facebook is selling it, Google is selling it, Amazon is selling it, right? This is all in the agreements, user agreements, right? We are agreeing to get our data sold, and that data gets sold to what they call data dealers, like kind of like this is the word I can think of, and they in turn sell it to different people, right? So we have AI, and some of the AI you can use for this is Reevaluate or Fellow. These are two platforms that are very good at looking at your people in your database and rank them by probability of them moving. So with AI, you can really like just nail down who are in the 90s. That it ranks you from 0 to 100 of your probability of moving. So whether the thought of it came to your mind or not, just because you bought baby diapers on Amazon, you're being ranked on someone's database, right? And so you could just focus on the 90s on your database and market to them, remarket to them, retarget them, right? AI obviously can retarget with ads people that you have in your database to keep showing up in front of them. But also AI can conversationally qualify someone to book a call with you. That's the biggest way we are using AI right now. And of course, you can clone yourself in videos and create marketing content with AI. Those are basic stuff that people are messing with right now. Now, when it comes to the end user, it's going to be interesting, and everyone's racing towards the end user right now, meaning the consumers. How do we service the consumer with AI? And the vision that I have, the way I see it happening, just comparing real estate with any other industry and just seeing what Zillow has done with the real estate industry, capturing, I would say Zillow probably captured minimum 60% of the market share, meaning 60% of business in the real estate industry right now is paying Zillow one way or another. Okay, either buying the lead on the front end or paying them a referral at closing. Okay, if not more, it's probably more than 60%. No, just looking at how Zillow captured the market. Okay, they really figured out what does the end user want, right? And then just give them what the end user wants, right? And I can see we're probably months, if not years away, from Zillow developing an AI that will coach. So AI coaching for consumers is the next big thing on all industries. What people really want is once people start using AI in different levels, in different apps, different ways, people will figure out I don't need to think anymore. Okay. And I don't want to think. I just want the AI to think for me. So what I see for the consumer side of the leverage of AI would be using an AI or having an AI available where the consumer comes in and kind of like Credit Karma or Credit Karma, you plug in your accounts and it reads all your financials and gives you a report. And obviously, there is a level of trust that needs to happen. The consumers need to trust that brand that's offering that, where the consumer comes in, plugs in their financials, and it will just tell them exact steps they need to take to get into the right house, right? Consumer plugs in their criteria, the AI searches the web to find the exact properties they need to make offer on, and AI would suggest the offer that will get them to get that offer accepted or suggest the offer that would be the best value for that home, right? So that's coming. It's not here yet. I don't think there is. I would know if there was, but that's definitely I see. I don't know, 2 years from now, AI being able to service the clients. So agents that have that in their hand would definitely have the upper hand. Now, as far as where we are right now, it's probably on the business side of leveraging AI to streamline your process. But for that, for most agents, they lack the process. So it's more about figuring out what is my marketing process, what is my attraction process, what is my client conversion process, and what is my client retention process, service process, and what parts of it can I use AI to streamline? Because we need to get to the level from one-to-one attraction, one-to-one conversion to one-to-many attraction, one-to-many conversion.
That is it's such a detailed analysis of, you know, potentially what could happen.
Yeah.
Obviously AI is, there's so many billions and billions of dollars, probably $1 trillion
Yeah.
being put into, what AI can be. Many industries are going that way, the legal profession, medical profession. My daughter needed a surgery and she put it in, and it was basically like reading her report to
Yeah.
give her advice on what she would need pre the doctor. So and it's not that off. Like they're not giving bad information. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um I think we're all, where we are today is tremendous for where we were 10, 15, 20 years ago. And it's, and that change is rapidly happening where it's at 2 years, 4 years, 5 years from now, it's going to be so different than where we're at now. So I would think that, you know, um, technology is used to assist clients in our industry, buyers and sellers. And so obviously, the more that we're understanding what's going on, we can then communicate with our clients to figure out how best to adapt the technology to help them with the process. So, the good
I
news
think,
is, as
yeah, I think the conversation that needs to be had here is to really watch and understand consumer behavior. Consumers, especially since COVID, I don't know if it's programmed, I don't know if it was intentional, but it's happening where consumers are being trained to do things virtually. Netflix took over Blockbuster or any other video rental places, right? Uber took over the taxi industry. Like there is markets where taxis don't even exist anymore. Okay, you can look at every single angle, right? Groceries are being taken over by being delivered to your door, right? So the consumers are being programmed or being trained to want things on here, right? And they're not gonna do everything on here. And when it comes to home, they'll be like, no, 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 no. I need a real estate agent. Like, no, 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 no. Everything's gonna be here. But for my home that I've been already browsing and looking for the house and everything, I'm gonna call my cousin. Because that's how you do things, right? If that's how you do things, we would go to drive to the pizza store to get the pizza still, right? Consumers, we have to understand, are looking for convenience more than anything else.
well, it's not just convenience, it's expensive, right? So we still, as real estate agents, need to show that we're worth the amount of
Worth the
money,
money.
and
Yeah.
it's expensive. And so, you always have to be worth, what the thing is. Otherwise, there'll be a better way. So certainly things are going to be coming down the line, down the end. And so how do you stay in front of it? Those are things that are important. But clearly, love the name of the book, Magnetic Marketing for Introverted Agents, because whether you're an introvert or not, that's not my takeaway is magnetic marketing, and that is I'm going to stick with that. You like that?
Yeah.
But yes, you want to attract people, have them say, whatever this crazy world of is going to be, that I want this person to guide me through the process. So that's I think that's a
Yeah.
it's going to be a
I
something
would say on
that's
that, especially that there's a price scare right now. Like agents are like, I'll do it for 1%, I'll do it for 0.5%, I'll do it for free. Just hire me so I can keep busy and get your referrals, and I'll charge them, right? Price is always a problem when there is an absence of value, or price is always a problem. There is a absence of perception of value. Okay, so for a real estate agent, for them to stay ahead of this thing that's coming, the snowball effect of consumers catching up to like, what, I could just do this for free online, or you know is that you need to position yourself, and you need to make your clients realize the value you bring to the table.
yeah. Agree. So the one thing though that I'll say is, because you see a lot, you talked about the 1% agent. Well, you don't take percent to the bank, you take dollars to the bank. So on a 1 million, a 2 million, a 5 million, there's no reason that on a $5 million transaction, potentially, that commissions need to be a certain percent, because you don't take the percent to the bank, you take the dollars to the bank. So a lot of it could also be, or what are you getting with that? Are you getting staging
Yeah,
services? Are you
yeah,
getting, are there open houses that you're having filet mignon and lobster, right? So it depends, right?
yeah,
So if on a $5 million house, 1% is $50,000. So do you need to get $100,000 as a commission? Maybe not. So it's based off of as the price points go up. And the other thing is, over the years now, house values have skyrocketed, right? So if percents are the same now than they were, 20 years ago, potentially there's a give and take. And the beauty of being in our business is we're all independent contractors, and you sit down with a seller and you're negotiating what makes sense. And so that's where you have to go there, and you have to determine, this is it's you're not giving me a percent because that's what everyone else does. You do it because this is based off of this house. This is what
yeah,
I'm going to provide and
yeah,
how I'm going to help you. So in the end of the day, um, I don't. Everyone's entitled to their own. Different people
yeah.
have different reasons for doing stuff, and different markets with different price points. You know, um, you got to determine what's best for you. So, wow, what a lot to unpack from our conversation today. Syed, you have you know, I think the future of real estate. You've been looking at it for a long time. You've developed, you've created, and you've adapted, and you've also written about it, and being a success coach. So you really understand what's going on, and it's a tribute to you that you take those things, you process those things, and then you also work on helping others fulfill their dreams, because not everyone can is able to take that information themselves and do it, but with the proper mentoring and coaching, more people are able to do it, and you've been certainly a leader in that.
Thank you.
And it's very, very evident. So I want to thank you, Syed, for being on this week's edition of our podcast.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much for your time and for your knowledge, and certainly magnetic marketing for introverted agents. You should check that out. If you're looking for a good success coach, Syed certainly has the tools and the track record to be able to help you.
We
So
are actually doing a 5-day challenge. We call it 5-day magnetic brand challenge. This is on the back of our book, and our book is free, by the way. Anyone can get it if they look me up on any of the social media platforms. Book.bossagents.co. And on the back of that book, we do a 5-day challenge where over the 5 days, I take agents step by step through building their magnetic brand and giving them the whole strategy on how to put that brand out there from a one-to-many perspective, right? From a one-to-many process. So if anyone's interested in that, we do one challenge a month. They can jump on that.
excellent. Thank you very much. And for everyone, until the next episode, it's Danny Berger with the Adventures of a Real Estate Broker. Thank you for checking in this week. Thanks for joining me on the Adventures of a Real Estate Broker. I hope you enjoyed our time together as much as I did. If you laughed, learned something, or just had a good time, do yourself a favor and subscribe to the podcast. A big shout out to our sponsor, RE/MAX Prestige Properties, for making this all possible. Remember to leave a review if you enjoyed the show. It helps more people find us. Until next time, keep it real, keep it fun, and keep exploring the adventures in your neighborhood. I'm Daniel Berger, your New York realtor, and I'll see you in the next episode.